Hi everybody! Can you hear me? Can you see me? What the heck? No, nothing. Yay, okay. Sorry, everything just stopped working for a second there. I was like, why? Yay, hi everybody, and all of a sudden, no camera, no microphone, no nothing. So, yay, welcome to the Beading Dreams. Yay! Welcome to the Beading Dreams Wednesday evening stream. Hi Kenneth, hi Lori, and Sharon, who hasn't been able to watch live in ages, so that's freaking fantastic. So welcome everybody to this tutorial. So, what we are doing today, I'm gonna have to put the stay tuned screen up because I didn't put that. I did not drop that photo into the frame I was supposed to. So this is our wire wrapping with chain project. So hi Susan! Yay! So this is one of my, there's a flexi thing with a sanding disc on it that's in my space. No, but this is another one of my kind of integrated wire wrapping or integrated technique tutorials, which I'm kind of trying to feed into the stream because I find that was supposed to make my neck mess look better, and instead it made it look worse. I'm trying to kind of highlight how all of these basic techniques that I've been teaching you all appear again and again and again, but also how they can be used to create things that look like, and in fact are practically identical to, things that are being sold by designers for multiple hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So tonight's tutorial is wire wrapping with chain, okay? And this is a thing that you see a lot, okay? You see a ton of this in your higher end jewelry and even your lower end jewelry also. Maybe sometimes you see it with a little bit more light than we have right now, so we're just, gonna see if we can turn up the light just a little bit more light. How's everybody doing, by the way? How was your weekend and all of that? I keep saying I'm gonna fix this camera / computer stitch, and then I keep not actually remembering to do it. But anyway, so there we go. So taking beads, and just any beads you want to. I have right here sunstone and apatite beads, but literally anything that you have, you can insert into chain and make something that looks like it came from a super duper fancy designer place. But just because you know how to make wire wrap links doesn't necessarily mean you know how to attach them to chain. Because even though once you've learned it, once you've seen it, it's fairly intuitive.
So sorry. Discountable?
No.
Thank you.
Hey, Rune! Wait, come back here and say hi to Rune. You have to come wave hi.
Hello, love.
So like, just because you know these basic techniques doesn't necessarily mean that your brain is gonna know how to put them all together. So once again, that's why I am trying to show you all how this works. Plus, I'm gonna be doing a thing that I actually don't do very often, which is I'm gonna be doing wire wrapping with top drilled beads. But I'm not going to be hanging them from the chain. I'm actually going to be wire wrapping through the holes. So let's real quick talk about tools and supplies for this evening's tutorial. Okay, so obviously I have an already made necklace here. This is another cool thing about these techniques is it can be an additive project. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to go ahead and put just 5 of my peridot teardrops. So I'm going to put 1 here, and then so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm just going to cluster them in the front of my necklace. But this is something that you don't, this is a project that never has to be finished, as it were. You can keep adding onto it and onto it and onto it. So And also, since this is a more complicated wire wrapping tutorial, I'm using a piece that I've already done and I'm adding onto it with the same technique. So if you're going to do this necklace from scratch, you would need some chain. I have this really cool kind of oval link chain going on here in gold filled, but you could use any chain that you want to. So chain, your beads, as you can see, I'm going to add length to your chain. So, oh, that's not okay because we still have a talking stream tonight. Time for caffeine. Anyway. Typically, if you're going to do a 16 to 18 inch necklace, 12 inches of chain should be sufficient if you're looking at this kind of concentration of beads. Now, if you want to add more beads, then you're going to need less chain to make that length, because your beads will add more length. If you're going to want less beads, then you're vice versa. You're going to need more chain. So it's really all about what length do you want and how many beads do you want to add to the chain. Also, one of the things that I like about this type of chain, which is typically called a long and short chain, is whenever you need to separate your chain, if you've got a decent quality chain like this one, where the links are soldered shut, in order to separate the chain, in order to put a bead in, you've got to cut a link. I love the long and short chains because you can cut the short link and not the long link, so you're not wasting as much chain. That's just me being parsimonious, but it is definitely something I appreciate about the long and short chains, but you can really use any kind of chain for this project. Obviously you're going to need a clasp. I'll talk you through how to attach that. This one I just did with jump rings. You could also wire wrap it on, and then you're going to need beads. Once again, however many beads you want. So for tonight's tutorial, I'm going to take this necklace that I've already made, and I'm going to insert 5 peridot drops into the necklace. So these peridot drops are pretty consistent in size, which is nice. 1, 2, 3.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Thursday's the night.
This one's bigger. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so that's my goal for tonight, is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to insert those into my already existing necklace. But the thing is, this technique is exactly the same. Okay, I really need to quit that before the talking stream. Heather, I keep yawning.
Uh-oh.
I think I drank too much champagne and not enough caffeine. So anyway, excuse me while I chug some caffeine. So by the way, all of you who are here, so this is our tutorial stream. This one's going to end a little after 7. We'll be back at 7:30 with a podcast. Stand up and breathe, and then drink 8 ounces. But I can't, Rune. I have to keep teaching. So I'm just going to have to go with Diet Coke instead of standing up and drinking 8 ounces of water. After stream. Well, after stream I don't need to be awake. All I need to do is stumble my way home in my car and, then try not to fall asleep on the couch, because I've had a lot of extracurricular working going on in the past few days. And so I've basically I finally slept in my bed last night for the first time in several days, because I've basically just been taking naps in between work time. And yeah, there's not a sales stream tonight. There's a podcast stream. And by the way, did I post in Discord? Or did I just do that in my head? But tonight's stream is, okay, I did actually post in Discord. That's great. And I made a podcast channel, by the way. So tonight's theme for the podcast stream is going, and no, I haven't released a single podcast. Just don't at me about that, okay? So we are going to have a talking stream tonight. The theme is going to be pets because I have some interesting things to share about pets. So I do. So I've got lots of pet stories to share. I'm sure that Heather's got some as well. If you want to hop on our Discord, which by the way, !Discord will get you that invitation link, and share some pet photos or some pet stories, we will happily incorporate, or pet questions like, what does the Mamie do when no one's watching her? Like, if you have pet questions for me or for Heather, feel free to post those on Discord as well. I do also want to share my my Mamie meme from this morning, and then I will get back to the actual teaching. But yeah, so my neighbor's cat tried to chase Mamie. Period. End of sentence. So Mamie decided she was just going to go up the tree and on top of the garage and be like, fine, screw you. And as usual, my camera's not being happy about focusing. But anyway, that's the Mamie on top of the garage. That's Mr. Kitty. He's the white blob at the bottom. And yeah, she's like, screw you. And I did miss the primo photo where she was looking down disdainfully and he was looking up at her like, what the hell happened? That would have been like the prime memeing photo for that, but I didn't get that. But yes, I did in fact get the Mamie on top of the garage. Oh, she's like, screw you, fat dude. You can't get up here and I can. So let's go back to tutorial stream, because talking stream doesn't technically start till tutorial stream is done. So tools and supplies is where I was at. You're going to need your basic wire working set of tools. That's going to be your chain nose pliers, your round nose pliers, and your wire cutters. If you're going to make this piece from scratch, once again, you're going to need chain anywhere from 12 to 24 inches, depending on how long you want to make this, beads, number of your choice, and wire. Now, typically, if you're using gemstone beads for this, you're going to want 24 or 26 gauge wire. I'm going to be using 26 gauge gold filled tonight, primarily because I'm using top drilled teardrop beads. Now, anytime you're using top drilled beads, you want to err on the side of having thinner wire, because the little points, these little points right here where the holes are, they're very fragile. So 26 or 28 gauge is typically what you're going to want for those beads. So again, I'm going to put 5 top drilled beads into my already made necklace, and we're going to go over how to do that. So I'm going to start by taking my 26 gauge wire, and I'm just going to cut myself a length of it. I tend to personally work on a longer length. I you know, length is a thing, but you can work with whatever length you feel comfortable with. The way it typically goes is the longer length of wire you work with, the less waste you are ultimately going to have. But also, you know, sometimes if you're not super comfortable with working with wire, it can be a little awkward having that extra length, because you tend to do things like hit yourself in the face. Wow, that was, well, hi Laura. That was an unexpected yawn, y'all. Like, that was completely caught me by surprise. Unfortunate. So the longer the length of wire you're working off of, the more awkward it can sometimes be, just because it's literally, you know, really long. Sorry. I promise my brain will click it at some point soon. Caffeine is a thing. So the point is, you can use a longer or a shorter. We miss you too. What have you been up to, Laura? You can use a longer or shorter length of wire depending on what's comfortable for you. I like working off of a longer length so I have less waste. So when you're doing something like this, regardless of whether you're working off of a piece that's already done, like the one that I'm doing, or you're working with just a straight length of chain that hasn't had anything done with it, you're going to need to separate the chain in order to add the beads. So my first bead is going to go right here in the center front. So I'm going to, and this is scary. This can be really scary for people, is you've got to cut the chain, y'all. Okay? Like you got to do it. Like, take a deep breath, you know, you say a mantra or whatever, but you have to cut it, because you can't insert something into the chain without making space for it first. So I'm going to take my center front link, and once again, this is why I love a long and short chain, because I can cut the little link and preserve the maximum length of chain. And I'm just going to cut that with my cutters and take it apart. So now I have officially destructified my necklace. Yes, we are all like Mad Max in the house at the moment. So yeah, so my necklace is no longer a necklace. Okay, I literally cut it apart. This is something that you're gonna have to get okay with if you want to do work with wire and chain like this. And I'm, you know, not trying to be too philosophical, but like, you know, you gotta be okay with cutting things. You can't make an omelet without breaking eggs. You can't make a necklace like this without cutting chain. So I'm going to take my peridot, and I picked this lovely big fat juicy one to be in the middle. And so now we're going to go ahead and attach that to, wow, my breaking eggs comment lost me 3 viewers. Unfortunate. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to attach this to the chain. That means I'm going to start with my wire. And once again, I've got a pretty long length here. You don't have to work with a length as long as me. So, take your round nose pliers. Those are the ones with the barrels that are shaped like really pointy, stabby cones. And you're going to grab your wire about 1.5 inches from the end of it, like so. Then I'm going to take my non-dominant hand. So my pliers are my dominant hand. For me, that is my right hand. Okay, so this hand right here, that's my right hand. My left hand is going to do most of the work of moving my wire for me. So we're going to go away from us over our pliers. So notice what I've done here. So I push my wire over my pliers, and I've made this 90-degree angle over the top jaw. Nope, wrong way. There we go. Over the top jaw of my pliers. Okay, Laura, just next week is booking up fast. So give us a call tomorrow, and give us a call tomorrow, Laura, and we'll get you on the schedule, because like I said, next week is booking up. Has booked yeah, we've got a lot of people coming in next week, so give us a call. We'll get you on the schedule. Oh goodness, Lori, that's like the emergency broadcast system here in the US. I've turned off all my alerts on my phone. Like, I can't even. There was one time when I was in Denver for a gem show. We open at 1 p.m. Laura. So yeah, give us a call tomorrow. And there was flooding all over the state of Colorado, which is where I was. And finally, I was just like, I have to turn this off, because I am not in imminent danger of dying from a flood. And this phone keeps going bah, 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 like all the time. So yeah, all my alerts. So the point here is, if there is an emergency, I'm just going to be swept away in the flood, and I'm not going to have any advanced knowledge of it, and I'm okay with that. Also, if anybody clips what I just said, I will fire you from the stream. Just saying. That means you, Heather.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're doing back to doing a basic wire wrap. So I went away from myself, and now I'm gonna wait for my camera to switch to the appropriate frame. There we go. Oh, there we go. All right, and then I'm going to loosen my pliers, rotate them an eighth of a turn, and grab again. So what I'm doing is I'm grabbing on that corner that I just made, and then I'm going to pull my wire back up over the top towards me and down. I was doing, oh lordy mercy. Let's not even. Also, I know, I'm sorry my camera's still really jumpy. I think I need to talk to, I need to talk to Ace. Figure out what the what is. But anyway, not right now, obviously. So what I've done is I've pulled my wire back up over the top of my pliers and down. So I've created this kind of circle around my pliers. Now what I need to do is I have to finish this circle, but my pliers are in the way. So I'm just going to rotate them out of the way. And then I'm going to finish my circle by going back underneath my pliers and away from me to make this shape. And this is what we here at the Beading Dreams call our lady with a scarf. Now, I'm not really happy with my lady with a scarf because I think she has a pumpkin head. And considering the size of this chain and the size of the wire wraps that are already on there, I think that this loop is way too big to go onto this necklace. So this is actually a technique that can be fairly useful to know, is how do you take this loop that you've made and how do you make it smaller? I make it smaller like this. You're just going to take your pliers, grab, find your light, person. There's light all over. It's really find your camera. So I'm just going to take my pliers and I'm going to grab my wire and I'm just going to kind of wiggle it so I make a smaller loop, and I'm going to turn this into kind of this horizon line thing that I have here. So what I did is I grabbed my loop with my pliers and I leveraged my wire against my pliers to make a smaller loop. And then I'm just going to take my round nose and I'm going to grab right at the point where those two wires are crossing, and I'm just going to bend the longer one down. And now all of a sudden we have our lady with the scarf, but she's much smaller. Sorry, still need to caffeinate. Also, I may be soldering during the talking stream because I have this thing that has to be done tomorrow that I did not get around to soldering before other stuff happened. Because this is the life of a small business owner. Don't buy a small business, y'all. Just don't do it. It sounds great. It's really just stress on a stick. And you're going to wind up spending a whole lot of money on therapy and Xanax. Probably. If you want to survive intact. And also the occasional hospital stay. But
Spa day.
Spa day, exactly. That's code. Spa day here at Beading Dreams is code for hospital stay. So, you know, the occasional spa day and lots of talk therapy and medication. So, we have our lady with a scarf, and what I've done is I've linked my lady with a scarf on to my chain. So how exactly do I do that? I just take my chain, I thread it down this long wire. I need to make sure that I pass it underneath this juncture here so that it goes into the loop. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my chain nose pliers and I'm going to hold them across my loop like so, and then I'm going to wrap about 3 times. Okay, so after this tutorial stream, we are going to have a podcast
Yes, we are going to have one of those.
slash talking stream. Our theme is going to be pets. I've got good stories about my grandmother's cat and the animal communicator, and I'm sure there are other good pet stories as well, and I'm sure we're also gonna you know, kind of wander into the territory of I've had some pretty weird dreams lately, which is kind of scary because I haven't even been taking my trazodone, and especially the one I had last night. So yes, it's going to be an interesting podcast. If anybody has anything pet related or bead related or anything else that they would like us to talk about on the podcast, please go ahead and put it up in the chat now, or you can post it on our Discord. I did finally make a podcast channel on Discord, and if you're not a member of our Discord, we wish you would be. Just type !Discord into the Twitch chat. That'll get you the invite link. Okay, so I've got my teardrop and I have threaded it onto my wire. So here's another good tip, and this is something that's kind of instinctive to me after being in this business for so long, but it's not instinctive to everybody. So when you have a bead that has a fairly small hole, trying to push the wire through, and sorry, black fingers, this is what happens when you're working with wire, but trying to push the wire through the hole isn't always the best way to do it. So ideally, if you can get the wire through the hole even a little bit, then if you grab it, you can pull it through the bead. And you can pull that bead all the way down, and that's actually the best way to get a bead onto your wire. So this is a top drilled teardrop bead, but I'm treating it just like a center drilled bead, which means I am using exactly the same wire wrap that I used on this bead, this bead, this bead, the whole rest of my necklace. So if you don't like dangling your teardrops, this is a really easy way to wire wrap them. That, once again, if you're familiar with your basic wire wrap link, it's exactly the same technique. Now I'm going to go ahead and make the second half of my loop. So the important thing here, the thing that's going to make it look the neatest, is that you snug your round nose pliers right up close to the hole of that bead. And since your bead's at an angle, you really have to make sure you get right in there. Then we're going to do just our basic wire wrap loop. So we're going to go away from us, rotate, back up over the top, rotate, and underneath. That's going to make me a second lady with a scarf. Sorry, she looks like she had a couple too many mimosas at brunch.
They do that sometimes.
I mean, I do that sometimes. Though it's much cheaper to have mimosas at home, just saying. Okay, so there's my lady with a scarf. So now I'm going to go ahead and connect this to the other half of my chain. So this is where I split my chain. So I'm just going to take this link of chain right here, and I'm going to connect that to that loop. So I'm going to go all the way to the end of my wire, thread that in my chain, and then go all the way up. And we're just going to thread that all the way up into that loop. Like so. And then I'm going to grab my chain nose. I'm going to hold across that loop. And so this is where it can get a little awkward with a longer length of wire. But I'm stubborn like that, so we're just going to go with it. And we're going to hold across that loop like so. And then we're going to wrap. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap starting at the base of this loop here. I'm going to wrap all the way down till I get to my stone. I also have a tiny bit of movie commentary for the talking stream as well. Because I just rewatched with my mom Fried Green Tomatoes, which is a great movie. But there's a whole lot of stuff in that movie that I did not get when I watched it in high school. Whole lot of stuff. Alright, so there we go. So then I trimmed it, and I'm going to press that down like so. Okay, so this is a top drilled bead wire wrapped like a center drilled bead. So this is a really great way to make a centerpiece for a necklace, and I'm going to go ahead and do this 4 more times on this evening's stream. So here we go. Alright, so my next one is going to go in between these 2 links right here, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that. And then we're going to do the whole thing again, but we're going to do it a little bit faster. So let's start with my piece of 26 gauge wire, and go away, rotate. The key to making that small loop is go towards the tip of your pliers, bring it back over at the top, rotate underneath, and we have a lady with a scarf with a nice little pin head, which is what we want. Thread that onto your wire, like so, and then wrap it. Like so, and trim, and then I'm going to go ahead and string on another one of my peridot beads. So I've got the end of my wire, string your bead on there, go ahead and pull that all the way down, and now we're going to do another basic wire wrapped loop. So we're working on that one right there, and we're just going to go, and once again, the key to making this not look overly long is make sure you snug up to the bead, and we're going to go away, rotate, back up over the top, rotate underneath. I don't know that I have done this before, Sharon, honestly. I probably should have, but you know, yeah, so you can totally wire wrap a top thread like this. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the end of this wire and I'm going to attach it to this link of chain. So once again, if you're doing this with you know, virgin chain that hasn't already been wrapped, you just literally, you cut the chain where you want the bead and then you insert it into that space. Like, it seems difficult, but it really isn't. You just have to be okay with cutting your chain. Perfect. Okay, so there we got our wire wrap link, and then we're going to hold across and wrap. No, okay, so Kenneth, no, I don't think you need to seek help. Actually, as a former dancer, I used to make a really off-color joke about that, because I would call my lady Isadora Duncan. And for anybody who's not familiar with that particular tidbit of history, Isadora Duncan was a pioneer, actually, in modern dance and the breakaway from ballet, and she was a very flamboyant personality. So there we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut my next section and add my next bead. And she was known for her long trailing scarves, and she was alive in the 20s, so that was when automobiles were open spoke wheels. And so the way that she died was she was in an automobile with her dramatic long scarf, and it was a convertible that was trailing out behind her and got caught in the wheel of the car, and I'm pretty sure everyone can guess what happened next. So I did used to call my lady with a scarf Isadora Duncan all the time, but I was, Heather and I were literally the only ones who ever got that joke, so I stopped making it.
We did, though. We got it.
Well, we got it, but nobody else did. So if you're just repeating jokes that no one else gets, then...
Well, that's a them problem, sounds like.
Or you should make different jokes. Just saying. Alright, so lady with scarf. And we're going to attach that onto the chain that I just cut. But, Kenneth, I think as long as you're not... okay. So maybe if the lady in your mind has an actual, like, visage, like if you're thinking of an actual person from your life and envisioning choking them with the scarf, then maybe you should re-examine your relationship with that person. But if you're just, you know, choking the cartoon lady with the scarf, I think that's probably fine. Also, by the way, not a licensed psychotherapist, so don't take my advice. Also, I don't think any of this is admissible in a court of law. Okay, so there we go, and we're going to trim it, and then we're going to press in our pointy stabby end, because nobody likes pointy stabby things, or at least not enjoy in this particular context. Alright, so once again, I'm going to take my bead, I'm going to put it onto my wire. This is a really, really good illustrator of the push then pull way to get a bead on. So I pushed it through just enough that I can grab it with my pliers and then I can pull. Ah! East Positively Crafty! Hi everybody, how's it going? Hi Raiders! What's up? What were y'all doing today? Oh, God. Crafty, you're so much better at rating than I am. I am the worst. I am the worst, absolutely, at rating.
Hi, Positively Crafty.
Heather said hi. She's over there. She'll be on stream later for our talking stream. What were you? You were making another bracelet. What kind of bracelet? I want to know. Tell me what kind of bracelet you were making. Haha. She heard you. So welcome in. We're doing wire wrapping. We're doing an integrated wire wrapping tutorial and also a way of wire wrapping top drill beads that may or may not have occurred to you. So even if you know how to do basic wire wrapping, you may or may not have done it in this particular context. So what I have is this necklace, which I had already. Ooh. That's awesome. All right, I have this this one that I have already made, and what I'm doing is my broadcaster window is behind my other window, which isn't helpful. I'm adding these little peridot drops into the necklace that I've already made, but it's all done with the same technique. So it's all basic wire wrapping. Which I personally think is pretty cool, that this one simple technique, which is way more basic than what Crafty was doing on their stream, way more basic, is incredibly versatile. That's, you know, as a slapdash small business owner, constantly overworked, underslept, underbrained, I'm definitely a huge fan of the looks difficult but really isn't method of jewelry construction. I have so much mad respect for people who do things like Crafty does, who are more the actual intricate time invested jewelry construction. It's like, God, I miss those days of my life. Like I do. Okay, camera. Hello, focus on me. Thank you. I miss those days of my life. I miss those times in my life when I had the breathing room to do intricate projects. And yeah, that it just hasn't been my life since I bought the store. So anyway, now I'm done with that rant and I'm going to finish up this necklace. I've got 3 more beads to put on, one of which is already on here. I just need to finish the wrap. Also, by the way, I do want to say that this awesome little cerveza toad that Corvus gave me has found a permanent home. The toad now hangs from my camera mount, so that I realized I tried to have the toad back here so that the toad could be kind of like a stream mascot, but it kept falling down and I didn't want to break it. So now it's just the toad is just staring at me drinking their little bottle of Corona. It's not even a Coronita, it's like a Coronita mini, and staring at me whilst I'm streaming. So yes, so I'm constantly being judged by the beer drinking toad, just saying. Alright, so let's go ahead and finish this. So I've got my peridot on there, and I'm going to now do my second wire wrap. So we are also exploring a different wire wrapping technique for top drilled, that you can actually take a top drilled take a top drilled bead like so, and you can wire wrap it into a chain like this, so you don't have to hang it down from a chain. And that is something that we haven't really done a lot with on the Beading Dream stream, and I am going to try and fix that in the future because it actually is a really fun way to deal with top drill beads. So I've got this peridot that's on here, and now I'm going to do a basic wire wrapped loop. So once again, the key to this is to get your pliers nestled right in there against the hole of the bead, and then we're going to go away, rotate, back up over the top, rotate, and sorry, I'm having trouble seeing tonight, underneath to make our lady with a scarf. And then I'm going to take my chain that I separated, and I'm going to thread that onto my wire, like so. And I'm going to go all the way up and into the loop, like so. And then I'm going to wrap. So just hold across that loop like so, and wrap. And again, this is where, welcome back, Laura. This is where the fact that I work with a longer piece of wire can be a little bit difficult, because it's going to want to kind of get tangled with your necklace, but if you're paying attention, you can keep everything sorted out. Alright, so there we go. There's that. Alright, so I got 2 more teardrops. So once again, I'm going to trim and press my end down. Alright, so I've now added 3 of the 5 beads to my necklace. So I'm going to do 2 more of my peridot. I'm going to do 1 there and 1 there. So once again, the first thing I need to do before adding a bead is I need to separate my chain, which means that I need to trim it. Okay, and so here's the thing. If you have a really good idea of the scope of your design, you can actually trim all of your pieces of chain at once. So I'm going to go ahead and trim that. And dun, 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 I'm going to go to the other side and I'm going to trim that. So now, instead of having, you know, our necklace with 1 break in it, I've got 2 breaks in it, because I'm going to go ahead and link each of these 2 breaks together with a peridot stone. So the potential pitfall here, which I have fallen into more than once, is that if you're not paying attention, you can accidentally link things together the wrong way, and then all of a sudden you've got like 4 teardrops on this side and only 1 on this side. So you've got to pay attention when you're doing this, but if you do, this is the more efficient way to do it, is to do all of your cuts first and then link everything back together. So now it's time for a basic wire wrap loop. Come on, Stream Deck. Thank you. So that's going to be away, rotate, back up over the top, rotate underneath. That gives us our lady with a scarf. That's going to link onto one of our ends. Okay, so we have right now, I've got lots of things here that are coming off camera, that are open. So I've got this end. Okay, I've got this end here. I have its counterpart on the other side. Nope, that's not the right way. Okay, so I've got its counterpart on the other side, which is this here, and then I have the two ends of this as well. So we've got a lot of ends here, so I'm just going to pick one. Good night, Laura. We'll talk to you tomorrow. All right, so we're going to pick one end, and we're going to go ahead and thread our lady with the scarf onto that end. All right, like so, and then we're going to wrap. And we're going to trim and press our end down. We are going to have a quick turnover, Hada. So if you need to do a makeup or anything, now would be a good time. I'm going to go ahead and put my teardrop on. Well, I actually have an arrow. It's in clear tape. I'm just not super great at using it. Also, hi Keiko. Which is funny because I'm a theater person, so I know how to use spike marks, but we did just spike. I'm just useless. Okay, so I've got that. Now I'm going to do my wrap. So again, make sure you tuck your pliers right up against the hole and then away. Rotate, back, rotate, underneath. We miss you too, Keiko. So I have my lady with a scarf. And then here's where, okay, this is symmetrical, which is great because it doesn't matter which side of this I actually attach onto. So I'm just going to find a piece of chain. I'm going to put my wire through there, and then I'm going to feed it all the way up. Like so. And then I'm going to hold across and wrap. And then we're going to trim and press down, and we are on the last bead. Now I could keep going. I could totally keep doing this. I could do this all day. But I'm not going to because we have a talking stream that's going to start in like 10 minutes. So the last thing I'm going to do is take my final bead, my final peridot bead. I'm going to use it to link together my necklace. And then we're going to see if I did it right or not. So, basic wire wrap loop. So we go away, rotate, back up over the top, rotate underneath. That makes our lady with a scarf. So we're going to find an open piece of chain. We're going to link that on there. So just slide that up. Like so. And we're going to hold across and wrap. So hold across so your pliers are parallel with this little tail end. Then we're going to wrap. Two or three times around, then we're going to trim that wire off. The sparkle reddish stone is sunstone, Keiko. It's a really pretty strand of Bollywood sunstone. Yes. Love me some sunstone. Alright, and then your little pointy stabby bit, we want to make sure to press that down just so that it doesn't scratch anyone or catch on anything. Alright, then I'm going to put on my last, woohoo! Go Keiko! Alright, I'm going to put on my last peridot. And once again, if I can get it through a little bit, then I can grab and I can pull. Sorry, I have some kinks in my wire. Just making this harder than it should be. There we go. Alright, so then all the way down, like so. Make sure when you do this that the whole, so we're obviously, I've been harping on make sure your pliers are going to be nestled right up against the whole of that bead on this side, but make sure also that the whole of the beads is resting against this wire wrap. So then I'm going to go ahead and go. Alright, away, rotate, back up over the top, rotate underneath. So we have Our Lady with a scarf. And then I'm going to find my last open link of chain, and I'm just going to thread that up my wire like so. Okay, and so it's inside the loop, and then hold across my loop and wrap. So I actually cut way more wire than I needed for this project, which is making my life a little bit more difficult than it has to be, but since the project's almost done, we're just gonna go with it. Alright, so we are just wrapping, and then once I'm done with my wrapping, I'm gonna trim and press my end in. So you see that? That's not what you want. And I will say, like, one of the things that screams amateur, we love beginners here at Beading Dreams. I'm not judgy of beginners of any stripe, but leaving all of your ends like out like this, where they're just stabby and awful, it's not going to wind up with a piece of jewelry that somebody's going to want to wear. So you want to make sure to trim it as close as possible and then press it down with your chain nose so that what you have when you wind up with it is that. Okay, so that's it. That is the end of the tutorial this evening. So Sharon, I mean, the cool thing about this project is it can be finished whenever you want it to be. So it was finished, meaning it was wearable before, and now I have added these peridot, and so it's finished and wearable again. And if I wanted to, I could keep adding peridot up the sides, or I could just say, hey, I'm just going to do these 5 and that's going to be it. So alright, so that's it for our tutorial for this Wednesday evening, our wire wrapping with chain tutorial. Also, by the way, for anybody who was curious, I did actually do it right. Okay, so I do actually have the peridot centered on my necklace. Like I said, if you do it wrong, you can have more up one side than the other. So that's it for the tutorial tonight. We are going to be doing a talking only chit-chatting stream in about theoretically it's supposed to be 4 minutes, but I want to shove a couple bites of food in my face, so it's going to be more like 10 minutes. So everyone take a bathroom break and maybe grab yourself a cocktail. Thank you, Crafty, for the raid. We appreciate it so much, and we'll see y'all back on this channel, twitch.tv/Beading Dream in 10 for our talking/podcast stream. Thanks everyone so much, and we'll see you soon.